as I mentioned in our last video, we talked about research and the particular words that are used. Now, since I was told that ghosts and are basically demons and aliens don't exist, or else they're demons too, all these different excuses for why these particular events occur, or a alleged explanation from the Christian community as to why they exist, why it's all occurring, I decided to go back to the Bible myself and read it from front to back. Are my pastors and priests and teachers telling me the correct information, or are they providing me with erroneous information? You'll be surprised at some of the research I found out from these certified professionals. Some of the current teachings, let's take a look at Genesis. In Genesis, we've got no one knows what God looks like, and some believe he is a big ball of light. Well, we know in Genesis it doesn't actually say this at all. But this is what is taught by some of the people. We don't know what God looks like. And some people have described, well, you know, he could be like a big ball of light. Like, everyone's coming up with these once again, like I would like to call them hocus pocus theories. What did our research find? Well, in the book of Genesis, it specifically states that God states that man is made in his image. So what do we look like? This one isn't that hard. We are made in his image. Therefore, he looks like a person. What does he look like, though? That's what we can't answer. Does he have a beard? Does he have a mustache? Is he bald? Does he have white hair? We don't know. That's the mystery. But anybody who wants to tell you that he's a big ball of light or an animal or a large planet or whatever they come up with, refer them back to the book of Genesis and actually read it. Another one I hear, God was the only being in existence at the time of the creation of man. That's interesting because in Genesis 1:26, it states, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness." Now, once again, just like I brought up before where we talked about see, hear, feel, here we are with two words indicating more than one person, one being, or more than one being. Us and our. Now this is allegedly what God said. He's saying, let us make man in our image. Okay, so now the question is, now that we've established he's talking to someone else or several beings, who is he talking to? And how many of them are they? Or are there? Adam and Eve are the first people on earth. Well, here's one problem. Now, if God knew that Adam was the only person on earth, why would he go and search for a suitable partner for him? That doesn't even make any sense. And as Judge Judy says, I love to use this quote, if it doesn't make sense, it isn't true. Boy, it's so true in this. So, if there were no other people, then who was God trying to hook Adam up with? A hippo? A lizard? A camel? Sure. Well, yeah, why not? I'm curious to see how those dates went. Now, in Genesis 1, it also states that on the sixth day, God created male and female. On the sixth day, the day before he rested. It didn't say he created male and then female. It states on the sixth day, he created male and female. That's an indication that there were male and females already in existence. Adam was created in the Garden of Eden, another famous one. Well, here's the thing. In Genesis 2:8, now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. It says he put him in the Garden of Eden. My question now is, where was he before? It doesn't exactly establish where he was at the time of his creation. God the Father has never been on earth as a physical being. I would love to dispute that one. In Genesis 3:8, it says, "Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden." In Genesis 3:10, Adam answered out to God, "I heard you in the garden." So he heard them. Now, granted, ghosts can make physical sound, but they can only do it for a short in short spurts. Now, I know what people are thinking. Well, he's God. He can do whatever he wants. Okay, well, we'll add to this. Genesis 18:8. This has to do with Abraham seeing God and two other visitors that appear to him. Abraham offers some food and water. Genesis 18:8. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared, and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. While they ate. Let me ask you a question. Out of all the paranormal shows out there, from anybody who has experienced paranormal activity, anybody who's put out, who's gone to church or anything like that, how often have you baked dinner for the Lord, set it out, and had dinner with him? And how often did he eat the food and digest it? How often have you had dinner during a paranormal investigation with a ghost? And how often did the ghost eat the food? It almost reminds me of something like out of Casper, the friendly ghost. You've got the three other ghosts that Casper bakes all this food for them, and they start eating all the food, and it just goes right through them. And Casper goes and cleans up after them. I really would be curious to see how a ghost digests. Jesus is from heaven, and heaven is not a planet. The Bible states that Christ stated while he was on trial that my Father's kingdom is not of this world. Key word here, this world. Insinuating that I'm not from this world, I'm from another world. Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking here. Right, he's about to say that Christ is an alien. Pull out your dictionaries, people. Look up the definition of what an alien is. Aliens are not from around here. If you have a Mexican that crosses the border into the United States, what do we typically call them? An alien. They're not from the United States. Well, what's the difference when they come from a planet? Everybody thinks that, when we refer to aliens in the paranormal field, that we're talking these little green men with big heads that come from Mars. That's not necessarily, we're just saying, that's not necessarily what we're saying. We're just saying they're not from here. Christ does not say, I'm from another dimension. I'm from the spirit realm. I'm from this, I'm from that. He says that my Father's kingdom is not of this world. He's saying he's not from this world. Don't change his wording. There is no second son that we are going to observe in the end of days. The Lord specifically states in Malachi 4:2, but for you who revere my name, the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness arise, indicating a separate son. Read further throughout the Bible, there are hints at it. It doesn't say S-O-N, it's S-U-N, indicating a son. Now, some of this just blew my mind just going over this, so I had to look up the faiths. We have all these different religions out there. There's all these different types of Christians, Lutheran Christian, you've got Catholics, you've got all these different religions. Where did they come from? That was my next question. There are three faiths, one God, under three Abrahamic faiths: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Well, we take a look at one thing. First off, the actual correct name of Christ being Yeshua, ben David. Yeshua was originally was considered a Jew. He was also considered a rabbi. There were people back then who believed that Yeshua was the Messiah. There were people who didn't believe it. Now that's where you start to split apart. The people who believe him, or believe he's Yeshua, or Yeshua is the Messiah, and the people who believe that he's just this terrible person trying to teach Reform Judaism. Thus, Christianity begins to form. And then from there, it just keeps on breaking down into all these branches. Everyone is fighting over the same God. It's almost comical.